Laura here. I'm here to do another book tag because they have been coming up so much. I think it's because it's the start of the new year, but I looked through all these questions and I actually have not answered some of these, so I thought that I would give you guys another video. I am trying to stick to my schedule and giving you guys 3 videos a week. Sometimes you will get 4, like I think you got this week, or last week, as the case may be, but I am trying to give you guys 3 videos so you guys have more content. So the first question is, who is an author that will be new to you in 2018? This is kind of my secret shame, and I have said this so many times in so many different videos, but I have never actually read any full-length novels by Leigh Bardugo. I think in one of my short story anthologies there was a short story by her, but I haven't never actually read any books by her. I have Shadow and Bone, I have the second one in this, Siege and Storm, I have Sixth of Crows, I have Language of Thorns, I have Wonder Woman Warbringer, a lot of books. So really she is like my goal. I'm gonna really try to read this in February just so I could say that I've read Leigh Bardugo. Yay! But yeah, I really am, and I've met her. I have books signed. I think this one is signed by her. It should be. Yeah, signed by her. So I've met her like twice. She's lovely. I have 3 books signed by her. Really need to get on the game and read Leigh Bardugo. So guys, if you notice that come March I still have not read Shadow and Bone, yell at me via YouTube and I will add it to my March. But really, it should be in my February TBR. I'm gonna make it a goal, okay? I promise, guys. Super simple. A book you'd like to read in 2018. And this is definitely for me. Magnus Chase, The Gods of Asgard, The Ship of the Dead. This is the final book in the Magnus Chase series, and I really hate being behind on Rick Riordan novels, and this is the last one to fully catch me up by the time we get to book 3 in his other series. There was a big cliffhanger at the end of Hammer of Thor that I really, really need to know what happens, and I recently finished re-listening to it, so I'm definitely ready. I really just need to dive into this. Hopefully I can read it in February. I'm making a lot of reading goals in February, but I might actually start this at the tail end of January if I can finish all my other books, but this is definitely a book that I really do want to read in 2018, hopefully sooner rather than later. Classic would you like to read? And I don't read a lot of classics. I much often like listen to them. I know I've listened to Emma and I've listened to Pride and Prejudice. Really haven't ventured out of Jane Austen, but my cousin a long time ago got me Sense and Sensibility, and I've actually seen a lot of like retellings, and I think I have like a contemporary retelling on my shelf of this one from one of the adult authors. So I've actually always wanted to read this, and she gave it to me, and none of my family and friends, well, my family often buys me books, so whenever they buy me books, I'm always like, oh my god, I should totally read this. So she gave this to me a couple of years ago. I've still kept it. I've still not got rid of it just because she gave it to me. But I would definitely like to read this in 2018, and if I don't actually read it, I might actually just listen to the audiobook, but I will add this to my potential TBR as well. Prompt is a book that you want to reread, and I've talked about this in a couple of videos. I'm actually doing a reread of this author, but I definitely want to read The Warrior Heir and The Wizard Heir. I love these books when I was in elementary and high school. I just love them so much. And apparently she wrote so many more books that I just never read. So I definitely want to reread these 2 specifically, the first 2 in the series, because those are probably my favorite. But then move on and see what happened in the rest of the series and then read her subsequents. But definitely The Warrior Heir, and this is probably going to be, after I take a contemporary break from Zenith, this is probably going to be my next read as well. So definitely The Warrior Heir, but The Wizard Heir as well by Cinda Williams-Chima. A book that you've had for ages that you want to read, and this is actually was kind of hard because I do have a lot of books on my shelf that I do want to read, but the one that I remember getting the longest that I can recall is Serafina by Rachel Hartman. I got this at a Reddit gift exchange like a while ago. I'm talking like maybe like 6 to 7 years ago. I got this like a while ago. And the reason that it's so imperative now is that I recently got book 2, which is Shadow Scale, and I also got another series set in the same world called Tess of the Road. So I really do want to read this and then continue on with the series, but this definitely is a book that I've had on my shelf for a while. It was actually scheduled to be in my TBR for January. I don't know if I'm going to get there because Zenith is a monster of a book, but I hope to read this, if not January, then in the next couple of months, so I can read the subsequent books in the series. that I desperately want to read in 2018, and the prompt is a big book. And this is really the reason that I haven't read it, because it is massive. It's not that I don't love reading big books. Don't get me wrong, they are great. But I have been in grad school for the past 4 years, and I've had to travel to the city. So all of my books that I've been bringing to the city have not been this big because they often get destroyed in my backpack. So I really do want to read this. I've heard lovely things about this series. I think I'm probably the only person in the world that prefers this to Court of Thorn and Roses. But now that I have a little bit of time and not traveling so much, we hope, I can hopefully add this to my TBR. What I might do is I might actually just get it on my Kindle because this book is signed to me by Sarah J. Maas, and I tend to love to, and these books tend to die really, really quickly just because of use and stuff like that. And actually the spine isn't cracked, which is so rare when I have really, really large books. So definitely I do want to read this. I will probably get it on my Kindle because I just want to save this book that fate. But overall, definitely Queen of Shadows. An author that you have read that you want to read more of, and this is no surprise, it's Casey West. I've read books by her before. I've read P.S. I Like You, which was an Owl Crate book, and I have slowly accumulated one. This is one from a library that I got today. I just picked it up, but I also have The Fill-In Boyfriend, On the Fence. I also have Lucky in Love, and I can easily get Distance Between Us. The problem with me and contemporaries is that I don't read them throughout the year. I just read them in the summer, so I'm trying to break myself of that habit. And I'm trying to read a contemporary a month is a new goal that I'll talk about a little bit later, just because they're so fun and they're easy, and I kind of don't always let myself read romances, but I definitely do want to read more of them. So Casey West, I want to hopefully finish her entire back half and be fully caught up by the time her book comes out in June or July. But these definitely not that I would like to read more of, and I have so many of her books, so I really need to get a move on, especially because this is a library book and it's due back in a couple of weeks. So definitely for this one, hopefully sooner rather than later. The next prompt, is a book that you got for Christmas, and I've talked about Batman, I've talked about Fireblood, but for this tag, I'm going to talk about The Valiant by Lindsay Livingston. Never read any gladiator-themed books, and I know that the sequel just came out, but I'm intrigued. I like the Princess Captive Gladiator. It takes place, and when Fallon is about to hopefully become a gladiator, she is kidnapped and taken to a gladiator school, and she has to try to get out of it. Sounds super cool. I've never read any gladiator-inspired novels, so this seems like it will be right up my alley, and I will definitely report back when I finally get to it. The next prompt is a book series that you want to start and finish in 2018. A lot of the series that I want to start reading are really, really long, so I picked a short one, and it's a duology. It's Wolf by Wolf and Blood for Blood by Ryan Groudon, and this is a historical fiction novel. And I think that this is I think that the year is 1956. The Axis powers of the Third Reich and the Imperial Japan rule. To commemorate the great victory, they host an Axis tour, an annual motorcycle race across the conjoined continents. The prize and audience with a highly reclusive Adolf Hitler in the Victor Balls in Tokyo. Yale, a former death camp prisoner, has witnessed too much suffering, and the fire wolves tattooed on his arms always remind him of the loved ones he lost. The resistance has given Yale one goal: win the race and kill Hitler. With the power to shape, Yale must complete her mission by impersonating last year's only female career, Adele Wolf. But as Yale grows closer to the other companions, can she be as ruthless as she needs to be to destroy discovery, to avoid discovery, and stay true to her mission? So I think that in this book, the Nazis won the war. So that sounds really interesting. I love historical fiction novels, especially one with a slight twist. I really loved Ryan Groudon's book Invictus, which was a time travel novel. So hopefully I can dive into this and read both Wolf by Wolf and Blood for Blood. So yeah, I got these for free at Comic-Con. Literally in the same day. I got one book in the morning, one book in the evening. So I thought I would tag this on to this thing, and hopefully I'll get to read more. She also does have another book. It's by The Walled City. It's not in this world, but it is a similar darker fiction novel. So yeah, hopefully I get to read it. The big series that you want to finish that you've started, and that's Ink and Bone by Rachel Kane. I actually do have all 3 books in the series. These covers are so pretty. And I started book 1, and I really know that I have to reread book 1, and that's why I've been putting it off, because the end of this book kind of broke my heart a little bit. But I definitely do want to go on and continue reading, because the covers are so pretty, and it sounds so interesting. and there's a male protagonist lead, and I love the world, so I definitely will have to reread this. I actually got this from Blogging for Books like a while ago, and I just never wound up reviewing it. So definitely it's going to be on my TBR for 2018, and I hope you guys will stay tuned for my review. Set any reading goals, and if you do, what are they, or how many books do you hope to read? And I always set my Goodreads reading goal to 100 books because I don't like to feel anxiety if I'm behind on books, and then eventually, normally towards the summer, I will surpass that goal, and I will like be at like, normally I read between 130 and 150. I think I read like 130 this year, which was really, really impressive. That does include audiobooks. So hopefully I can read around there. And I do have other reading goals that I'll tell you guys in a few minutes that I'm going to tell you. And I also did like a book resolutions video as well. But these are just some, again, as you go through your day, book resolutions come to you. So I will talk about those now. Any of the book resolutions that you do have, I definitely want to stay up to date on my backlist reading challenge. And all of these books that I have just told you about are all backlist books. They've all come out in 2017. So these will all work so nicely with my backlist challenge. But also, just I want to diversify my reading. I want to read some more nonfiction. I want to read some more comic books. I want to read some more, I want to read some more contemporaries more often. I just want to diversify what I read. I still want to read mostly YA, but I just want to diversify the pool of stuff that I'm pulling from. You could check out all of my other list videos, my book resolutions videos, and all that other stuff, but I hope you guys like this video. Let me know in the comments what are some of the books that you're going to read in 2018 that go along with these prompts. I would love to hear them, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!